Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with Pacific Nut Producer Magazine, reporting to you from the annual winter meeting of the Nut Growers Society here in the Willamette Valley of Oregon. I'm here with Terry Ross. He's Executive Director of the Hazelnut Growers Bargaining Association. So I wanted to talk with you today about prices. I know that's something that's on everybody's mind. Recently, some of our processors have come out with prices for the 2023 crop. It sounds like some pretty good news, nearly double the price of what growers experienced last year. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, we were anticipating a real long, drawn-out, depressed price situation, and we were surprised that it got shortened this year due to some climate issues, weather issues, stink bug issues in other producing areas. About 200 to 250,000 tons of expected crop just didn't show up. And so that has caused the market to rebound, and it appears that consumption is starting to improve similar to what we would have anticipated pre-COVID. So it seems like we're back on that track, and we initiated a lower initial minimum price, and the bonuses that we were able to achieve here this week were in some cases 30 to 45 cents above the initial minimum price. So yeah, we're feeling really good about the future. Unfortunately, it comes at a cost in some producing areas, but it's been a real improvement for us. Oregon had always received a 10 to a 20% bonus above other prices from around the world. And it appears we're starting to get that bonus back for our quality and traceability and reliability. So we're pretty excited about where things are headed.
Well, that's great. It's kind of difficult, the Pacific Northwest hazelnut production is kind of a drop in the bucket compared to what the whole world produces, especially in Turkey, right? So it is kind of hard to command prices when there's so many different factors that are out of our control right here in Oregon particularly, but having that quality is worth something, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So just to frame the scope of our situation is worldwide there's about 3 million acres of hazelnuts in production, and here in the Willamette Valley we've achieved almost 100,000. So we have plenty of room to grow. And there's lots of markets here domestically that are just starting to get built out. Those markets were beginning to come into play in 2019, but then when COVID hit, a lot of manufacturers of cookies, goods, confectioners, they pulled back to what they knew, right? So there was no new product lines that were getting developed. Everybody got very cautious. And so we're seeing some of those projects come back online. So consumption is expected to slowly increase. And a lot of the issues that were there before COVID have shown up again. So, a lot of it had to do with during COVID, people were home instead of at work.
Right.
They could pay a little more attention to their small farm or acreage and spoon feed some fertilizer or things. And now they're back to work and it's not a priority. So we're beneficiaries of that, and we're counting our blessings, I guess.
Now I understand you work in the grass seed business too, right? So we've seen a lot of people planting hazelnuts on ground here in the Willamette Valley, particularly that was historically farmed to grass seed. Do you see that trend continuing to point to hazelnuts over grass seed potentially?
That's a great question. So back to scope. So Oregon, the Willamette Valley is the Turkey of the grass seed industry. We are 70% of the world's supply comes from here in the Willamette Valley. Yeah. And growers had taken the best ground out of grass seed production and put them into hazelnuts. When we hit 40 cents last year, and the initial minimum started low this year because we weren't quite sure about the crop shortages yet, growers were starting to actually take some newer orchards out and a lot of the older orchards out. They were shifting back towards grass seed production because they already had the infrastructure and the equipment to to put those acres back into play. And now, just this week, those growers have turned around. They're now looking for trees. The whole thing has changed, and so we're really feeling fortunate. Again, it's at somebody else's expense, and feel sorry for those folks that they're struggling with those situations. But we were definitely grateful to get a win. So it's an exciting turn of events. I do anticipate acreage placement will go back up for hazelnuts, and the shift away from grass seed will continue. And a lot of that has to do with the fundamentals in the grass seed business and waning demand there. So it's really a solid change of events. I mean, we're very happy.
Well, that's farming for you, right? It's farmers are some of the biggest, most notorious gamblers that we know, and things can change in an instant. So appreciate the good news. We wish growers the best this new year, and read more about it in Pacific Nut Producer Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, PacificNutProducer.com.